I'm Katie Leader and I'm from Take Art, and so I've been asked to talk about working in an arts organisation. So Take Art is an arts organisation, and it's not just dance that we cover, although it's the dance service that I work in. So we have 5 areas that we cover. So we have a music service, we have a rural touring scheme, we have an early years service, we have a theatre service, and we have dance. And we are based in an office on a farm in the middle of nowhere in Somerset, near South Petherton, and there are literally like sheep and stuff just over the road. So talking about being in a rural community, that's exactly where Take Art is. So I'm going to talk to you today about the kind of jobs. I guess it's looking outside of some of the performance jobs, but so some of the jobs that you could get involved in an arts organisation. So my role at Take Art is the director of dance, and I have a specific focus of work on children and young people. And so within that role, I have to have an overview of the whole of the county, and I work to provide opportunities, support opportunities, develop opportunities, and just try and really nurture any work with children and young people. Very briefly, I trained as a professional dancer at London Contemporary Dance School, and I graduated 9 years ago, and I've been living in Somerset for about 8 years now. So I've been working at Take Art for about 5.5 years, and it's a part-time job that I do. So I think, like some other people were saying, there's so many strands to what you can do as a dancer. So I still perform, I teach in schools and outside of schools, as well as the role that I have at Take Art. So we, as an organisation, we are funded by the Arts Council. We have to apply for funding, so like some of the other organisations. So we are a national portfolio organisation, and that means that we are funded regularly by the Arts Council. We used to be funded by Somerset County Council, and we are still funded by 2 district councils in Somerset. And then for specific projects that we have going on, we have to apply for additional funding. So if we want to make something happen, we have to get funding to do it. So it could be that we could apply through the National Lottery or Sport England. So there are lots of different places that we look to get funding to do what we can do. So without that funding, then we wouldn't exist. I've got a similar slide to Deborah, I think. So partnerships as well is something that I wanted to talk about. And it's really, really important, and I think this is something you can take with you throughout your career. It's really important to have partnerships with what you're doing. So I consider myself to have partnerships with all the young people that I work with teachers, schools, venues and theatres, other arts organisations like Pavilion Dance South West, nationally with Youth Dance England. I'm just trying to think what else. Dancers. So partnerships is really important, and quite often that can make or break a project. So it could be that if I wanted to make something happen and I haven't got any money, which quite often is what I'm doing, then a partnership with someone means that they'll say, okay, we'll give you the space to make that happen. And so that's really, really important, and something I think you should take with you. So my role at Take Art has varied since I started 5.5 years ago. So initially I was employed for a project called Step Change, which was a dance and health project. And so my role within Step Change, I think my job title then was Step Change Dance Practitioner. And so I was employed by Take Art, so I wasn't freelance at that point, so I was employed, and my role was to work to coordinate the schools and the youth dance elements of the project. And so I was working in schools, teaching. We did blocks of work over sort of a 10-week period. I was teaching and running youth dance companies, so that's where Somerset Youth Dance Company started through the Step Change project, and running CPD and training sessions for teachers. So quite a varied work, and I think at the time I was 3.5 days a week at Take Art, and that has varied by week on week sometimes. So that was my initial role at Take Art. Then in 2008, in partnership with Pavilion Dance South West and Youth Dance England, my role changed again, and I became the youth dance lead for Somerset. And so this was a project that there was 10 of the 10 areas in Somerset had in the southwest, had youth dance leads, and I was the one for Somerset. And then we had a regional strategy manager that worked at Dance South West, as it was called then. And so what it meant was the whole of the country were trying to create an infrastructure for youth dance so that there was a way of connecting. And so my job then was to look at what the provision was in Somerset for children and young people and try and make sure that there was kind of a spread of work that was available. So it was a chance to really develop all the things that were already going on. And then since 2010, I became the co-director of dance with the children and young people's focus. And then there was another co-director at the time, Kath James, who was in charge of a professional programme. So I was looking after the participation in children and young people, and her role was to look after the professional programme. My role now is the director of dance, so this is role number 4 in 5.5 years. And so I still have a specialism with children and young people, but I now have more of an overview over the whole service, which I'll talk about in a bit more detail. So I have to write the strategies, I have to write the budgets, I manage all the dance staff and any freelance staff that we have coming in. I tend to drive dancers places. What else do I do? I manage the Facebook pages. Yeah, that's you lot at the front. And just generally muck in with everything. But I do now hold an overview of the whole service. So Take Art Dance. So within Take Art, like I said, we've got the 5 strands, and then dance is what I call Take Art Dance. We are the county dance agency, and what that means is, so as Anna was saying, that every area tends to have their own county dance agency. And so our role is to support dance in Somerset, and that's across a whole range of areas. So my focus is children and young people, but we work across a whole range of areas. And it's to make sure that we're supporting dances happening, that dance is being created, that there are opportunities for people, and it's kind of being that person in the middle that can connect people together and to make sure everybody knows what's going on and that there are opportunities out there. So our dance team at Take Art, it tends to grow and shrink depending on what the current projects are or what the current funding situation is. So when I first started in 2008, there was 6 step change practitioners, so I was one of 6. We had a director of dance, an assistant director of dance, and a dance administrator. So that might not sound like a lot to you, but believe me, currently there's like me and another half-time post, so that was a lot. And so it does tend to grow and shrink. Currently, there's myself, so I direct the dance service and I'm 3 days a week on that job. And then I have we have freelancers who work with us to develop the professional programme and our work with older people. And then we have 2 coordinators, one who coordinates, a youth dance coordinator and practitioner who works specifically on a project with the Octagon Theatre. And then we have Katie who works on our education side of work. And she's a cross art form, but she does have a little bit of time for dance. So that is our current dance team. So just to kind of break down what the different roles are. So this is Carrie. She doesn't know I found this picture and I'm using it of her, but she's not here, so it's fine. So she is our coordinator and practitioner at the moment. And so a coordinator is someone who would take the day-to-day running of a project. So it would be my job to write the project and to find the money for it, so to get the funding together. And then I have a coordinator in post who would actually do all of the running of it and add more sparkle to the project and kind of have a chance to be a bit more creative and add more ideas. So that is what a coordinator would do. So we may not have a dance-specific administrator, but we do have 2 administrators in our office. So we've got Kim and Rose, and they're like the people that keep me sane. And this is, I think, how they work. Yeah, so and it's really, I think you should never underestimate an administrator and how beneficial they could be. We went through a period where we didn't have any admin support, and it takes me a day to like do a mail merge. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to do that. Whereas like Kim can do it in 5 minutes, and it would just take me all day. I give up. In the end, I've sat down and handwritten letters, like on the envelopes instead of printing labels because I couldn't work it out. But so don't underestimate the value of a dance administrator. I think it's something that is really, really valuable. So they tend to organise me and tell me where I need to be. which is quite a complex job in itself. Yeah, and just the things like being able to answer the phones and to organise all of our databases to remind me that I need to collect information and evaluation feedback forms off of people, and that I need to collect data because yes, the Arts Council do want us to prove what we're doing. So those kind of things that, you know, you can never really undervalue. We also have a marketing manager at Take-Art. Again, it's not dance specific, but it is a really important role, and you might find a job specifically in dance marketing. I mean, I find, in a similar way that Zana was saying, that it was an area that she wanted to kind of really pursue for herself. I realise now that I do a lot of marketing. I would never say that that's what I do, but I do a lot of it for dance. And I think if you're someone who really knows dance, then you can really sell that as something that you can do. And it's things now, I mean, I have to say, SYDC run most of the social networking stuff half the time because I have no idea about it, and had a meeting the other day when I felt really old when they started to talk about things that I didn't understand, but apparently it's what everybody does now. But I do know about Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And so it's just, and I think they are really great ways now. So if you know how to run, if you know how to just keep just getting information out to people. So our marketing people, they do have more knowledge than me. But I think it's great as well if you work in an organisation where you've got someone who's happy to work with you. I've learned quite a lot from working with our marketing manager, and now I'm allowed to go on the website and edit stuff, which I wasn't allowed to do for a couple of years, but I am now. And so that's something that you can take with you. So if you are interested, and you guys probably know more about websites and stuff than I do, so if it's something that you're really keen on or that you have an interest in, then that's something I think a really valuable skill. So freelancers, so obviously Hannah was talking about being a practitioner. So we work a lot with freelancers, and I think it's really important to support the artists and the practitioners that are in our local area to give them work when we can. So it might be that we employ someone on a short-term basis. So a freelancer, if you're not sure what that term means, it basically means, like Hannah was saying, it's someone who works, you're self-employed, and so we wouldn't give you a full-time contract, but we might give you a contract to deliver a workshop, or to run a professional class, or to go into a school, or it might be to work with a company that you would be a freelancer. And we also work really hard to make sure any opportunities that are coming into Somerset are being sent out to those freelancers. And young people and volunteers. So I do try and work a lot with young people. Obviously, because my job is to focus on children and young people, it's really good to make sure that I have an understanding of what you actually want, rather than me just standing and going, this is what we're doing. So in different ways that we work. So I have young people that work with me to help with the running of things like Spring Forward, whether it's backstage, running around, trying to get people in the right place, or organising it in the lead up, or doing the Facebook stuff for me to make sure everybody knows about it, those type of things. We also have a steering group of young people who work on a project at the Octagon Theatre, and Adam is sitting in the audience right now, he's one of them. And I think, again, it's really important to make sure that the projects that we're doing have a young person focus. So those guys are actually devising the project themselves, and they're organising what workshops are being run. So it really is coming from you guys as a voice rather than us. I'm not even following my cards anymore. And then volunteers. So again, when we have events going on, we're always, if anyone wants any work experience, like people have been saying, if you want any work placements and you want to just kind of find some more information out, and you're happy to kind of volunteer for one-off events, then we always try and encourage that. And although the term volunteer, if we can cover expenses and things like that, then obviously that's something we try to do. So qualifications to work in an arts organisation, it's quite a difficult question actually. I'm not sure if there is anything written in print as to what you need to have or not have. I think the most important thing is having a passion and an interest in dance, or to work in a dance organisation, and experience, but I know that's sometimes quite difficult to get, so again, volunteering will help that. When I started working at Take-Art, I had a BA Honours degree in contemporary dance, and I got that from London Contemporary Dance School. And then since working there, I've now also got the diploma in dance teaching and learning for children and young people, and my QTLS, which means I'm a qualified teacher. So that's what I had when I started working there, but that's not to say that that is necessarily what you need. And then just to run through some projects that we've currently got running. So Somerset Youth Dance Company is the county youth dance company that started in 2010. The aim of that is to bring together the really top dancers that are excelling in their local groups from across Somerset, to bring them together to have the chance to work with other dancers at the same level. And we have now got two groups that run, one in Yeovil and one in Bridgewater, and then the top ones for those groups come together to work with professional choreographers. So we just did a residency with Retina, and they perform curtain raisers, they perform at the county festivals, the regional festivals, and in summer we performed at the National Youth Dance England Festival in Leeds. So the Urban project, which I mentioned briefly, that has a steering group of young people. So this project is linked to the Octagon Theatre in Yeovil, and so this is a project which is led by young people, and it's kind of engaging young people in stuff that they're interested in. So it's looking at urban dance and the urban culture, and looking at urban music, and we had graffiti artists. And so there's mini jams that happen where young people can come along and just try workshops, or they can perform something that they might be working on. It doesn't need to be finished, and just kind of have a chance to hang out with other people that are into the same stuff as them. And then in the summer, in July at the Octagon, we're linking with Big Dance. We're having a big event. We did one the year of the Olympics last year. We had Flawless come down and Boadicea, and so the groups from round here were performing alongside the professional companies. So this is happening next year on the 13th of July, and we're talking to big companies at the moment about coming down, so there'll be workshops and stuff happening. So if you want to know more information about that, you can speak to me or Adam in the middle there. So just to show the breadth of work that we do, and Hannah's mentioned it and Zana has as well, so we also work with older people, and there's a project called Life Circles, which Sue Way and Rochelle Green have been working on. So again, this is where we work in partnership with other people who are working with us. So Life Circles is a project going into care homes and working with the frail elderly, and it's just coming to an end of its current cycle, but we're looking at how we develop that on, and there's a lot of training and there's a lot of work on our website that links to that. So if that's something that you're interested in, then there is links there. And then the last project I'm going to talk about, and I'm nearly done, I promise. It's really hard being the last person. Anyway, so Spring Forward is our county dance platform that has been running now for 9 years. Next year is going to be the 10th year, and to celebrate the 10th year, we're having a month-long festival that's starting on the 26th of February and it's running till the 1st of April. And so this is something hopefully you guys are all going to be able to engage with. So if you want some more information, you can let me know. But throughout the month, there's going to be 4 strands of work happening. So the first thing, there's going to be a chance for you to perform. So there's a performance at the Octagon Theatre, and there's 3 performances here at the Tacchi-Morris. We're also hosting the regional platform this year, You Dance Southwest. So that's where groups get selected to go and perform at the national event. And the deadline for applications is 12 o'clock tomorrow, so you've got about 12 or so hours if you haven't applied yet. So that's happening. You can also have a chance to take part in workshops. There's workshops happening across Somerset in a range of different techniques. We've got Motion House coming down, Richard Alston Dance Company's coming down, there's going to be street dance workshops, a creative day with Ben from Attic Dance, who else? Musical theatre workshop. So we've tried to kind of get a breadth of stuff. There's also CPD and training for teachers, and a chance for you to watch professional dance. So there's loads of professional work happening at that time. Or if you want to host your own Spring Forward in your school or your local hall, you could also do that. So please, if you want more information, you can find out, come and find me. And that is me. I forgot to put my email address on there, but I did bring some cards with me that are in the other room. But obviously, if you want, we do have a dance-specific Facebook page and Twitter account, so that's what any information that I've got coming up, that's where it will be. I've got some brochures and stuff through the other room, but I'm going to be hanging around, so if you want to come and grab me, please do. Thanks.